Howdy everyone. So I've already done a video on Nazareth with the original music video, which is going to be up here somewhere on a thing, I imagine, because I'll work that out because I'm a grown-up. Now in that we go through a lot of the religious themes. If you want to learn more about the context of Nazareth and watch me being John the Baptist just dunking bastards, that's the video for you. But I'll consider this video today kind of a companion video to that. I would urge you to watch that first. If you do have 54 fucking minutes, I'm so sorry. But in that video, we do discuss a lot of the religious themes that go through Nazareth, a lot of the consequences, a lot of the narrative that this song has. And it's a very dark song. And I feel like I have to say this right now, that this video, as well as that one, has a content warning on all of it. Because Nazareth is one of what I believe one of the darkest, one of the most cinematically narrative, and also I think it's one of the most important songs in the entire story of Sleep Token, the musical theatre production that is Sleep Token. In terms of the narrative, the lore that we create between Vessel and Sleep, I believe that a lot happens in Nazareth as consequences that are felt albums later. So why another Nazareth video? Well, the music video for Jaws, which is going to be 2 songs in the future in terms of the Sleep Token discography. The music video for Jaws was originally, as confirmed by some of the people who worked on the music video for Loki Films, said originally it was designed for Nazareth. Now, I've worked in the entertainment industry for 20 years. There are budgetary things, there are all sorts of reasons why something may be shelved, and also why when we watched the original Nazareth music video that perhaps it was a bit narratively underwhelming in terms of its construction compared to some of the music videos that we've had already, or indeed some that we're going to have in the future. So, to all intents and purposes, the music video for Jaws applies to the song Nazareth, and indeed I'm using today Sleep Token Luke, who you should all go and follow. He does a load of great Sleep Token content. He put the music video of Nazareth very kindly, so I don't fucking have to. Thank you. The music video for Jaws, rather, over the top of the song Nazareth, and narratively it does hit home a whole lot more. But before we get to that music video, let's talk about the Garden of Eden. That's right, it's time for another RE lesson with Glenn. Strap in, folks. So, the Garden of Eden. Right? God has created everything. He's created plants and trees and fish. He's really happy with fish, and he says, fish are really good. They're so good, I'm going to put like mammals on land, and I'm going to have them roam the earth, and then they're everywhere. And he's like, I should probably have somebody look after all of this, really. And so he goes, I will create someone in my image. And so he gets some dust. He gets some dirt. Ashes, in fact, if you want to read into ashes to ashes, and he breathes life into it, and he goes, look, man! Terry here will play the part of Adam, at least for the next few seconds. So he breathes life into dust, and man is created, and he goes, hello, man, and man goes, hello, God. He goes, your name's Adam. He goes, don't mind it. So what's my job here, God? And God says, you're going to be a gardener. You are going to tend to the Garden of Eden, and Terry, Adam, is really happy with that, and off Adam goes, and he's tending just to the animals, and he says, it's fine, everything's going to be great for you. This is the Garden of Eden. This is paradise. Everything's going to be provided for you. But God, after a while, is like, he does look a bit lonely, doesn't he? And so he does that, like, 3, 2, 1, sleep thing. And Adam goes into a coma. And while he's there, God reaches into his ribs, perfectly normal, and pulls out one, presumably so he can give himself a blowy. It's not because of that. And he turns one of these ribs into a woman. I don't have another pen, so just imagine a more sexy Terry, maybe. And so Eve is created, and he pops them down in the Garden of Eden, and Eve's like, hello, Adam. And Adam's like, oh, hello, Eve. And they're like, oh, we're all naked and stuff. This is great. This is fantastic. And he says, whoa. Right, you can do whatever you want. This is the Garden of Eden. This is fucking paradise, guys. All you have to do, you see that big tree in the middle of the garden? That's called the Tree of Knowledge. Just don't eat from it. That's all I ask. Please don't eat from it or you'll die. And they're like, banging. This is great. No, I'm off to go and frolic with some sheep. And off Eve goes, frolicking, and Adam running behind her, frolicking as well, I presume. And they're frolicking away, and everything's brilliant. And then one day, this little twat turns up, all right? This serpent. At this point, who's got arms and legs, and so he's sauntering around. What's a good serpent voice? It needs to be like a posh English villain, doesn't it? So this serpent turns up, and he's like, hello! And so this serpent gets in Eve's ear. And he's like, hello, Eve. We've not spoken before, but have you been told told not to eat of that tree over there. And Eve's like, fuck yeah, that's what God said. He said, don't fuck everything up. It's a tree. Oh, fucking hell. Sorry, auntie. Got excited. And yeah, so Eve's like, no, we don't want to fuck it up. He said, eat everything. This is all fair game, paradise, but don't eat from that tree or you'll die. And the serpent goes, oh, you see, it's not that you'll die. It's that you'll become godlike, because that's the tree of knowledge, and God doesn't want you to eat from it, because then you'll ascend. Sounding fucking familiar to any Sleep Token fans at this point? And so Eve goes, no. And the serpent goes, yeah. And then Eve goes, no, surely not. And the serpent goes, trust me, I'm a snake. And so Eve goes, well, this feels like coercion, and the snake might be Lucifer, who has crept into the Garden of Eden after he was cast down by God, after being his right-hand man. And so the devil, Lucifer, the morning star, wants revenge on God. He wants to ruin the Garden of Eden, and so he gets in the ear of Eve and convinces her that she should eat from the tree of good and evil, the tree of knowledge, that maybe God is keeping something from her. And in fact, if you do this, you will be godly. You will be next to God. You will ascend to his level. You will know things that you never thought you would ever be able to know. In its essence, essentially, the first mortal sin, the beginning of sin. And so Eve goes off and she grabs one of the apples and she goes, oh, fucking hell, that's tasty. And then she goes over to Adam and goes, Adam, what? And he's like, oh, what's this? Oh, that's tasty, isn't it? She goes, tree of knowledge. And he goes, fucking what? And Eve's like, sorry, probably should have told you before. Yeah, that's from no, there's a snake. There's a, where's he gone? And the snake fucks off. And then suddenly Adam's like, oh shit, me willy. And he decides that he's got to cover himself up. And Eve's like, oh, I've got to make a fig leaf bikini. And so she goes off and she comes back going, what do you think? And Adam's like, I think, God gave me a poor deal down here. So they're all of a sudden aware of their nakedness, and then God is just having to wander through the Garden of Eden. All right, guys, how's it going? Don't crucify me. It's natural. It came out the ground. So God's wandering through, and he goes, hello, guys. How's it going? Fucking hell. I like this ensemble you've got going on here, but you don't need to, you can just be naked. And they're like, yeah, no, we know. It's fine. It's just, oh, shit. And God says, you didn't fucking eat from the tree of knowledge, did you? And to be fair, Eve comes forward and says, listen, right, this little twat, I knew it. I should have known by his fucking eyes. And she says, listen, God, we ate from the tree of knowledge and I'm really sorry about it. And God's like, ask you not to do one thing, just one thing, right? Okay, well, you, for starters, Eve, childbirth's going to be a bugger for you now. And she's like, oh, fuck. And he turns to Adam and he's like, yeah, okay, for you, well, you're not mortal anymore. So, I made you from dust. You're going to go back to dust. So you fucked that for everyone, haven't you? And so Adam and Eve are like, fuck, shit, we fucked the Garden of Eden. And God's like, come here, you little twat. He sees the snake running away, pulls him back, slaps him around a couple of times. He goes, right, your arms and legs are gone. Which I'm going to be honest, folks, I'm not convinced the punishment fits the crime there, if I'm honest. So yeah, God's pissed off and he's like, well, you fucked it, right? You're gonna have to learn how to do seeds. You're gonna have to be in horrendous pain in childbirth. It was all fine, guys, but you fucked it. I told you not to do one thing and you did that one thing. So the first mortal sin has been committed. And let me now drag this back to Sleep Token again, and why Nazareth is such a seminal part of the Sleep Token story, the lore between Vessel and Sleep, the Vessel and the deity, is that there is coercion in Nazareth. That is exactly what this is. This is about the loss of innocence. This is about committing a mortal sin. Something that you're going to do is going to affect you for the rest of your life, and possibly why there is such a connection, I believe, between the song Nazareth and the last song on the album, Taking Me Back to Eden. What, fucking like 8 years in the future? The song Take Me Back to Eden has so many lyrical references to Nazareth. The idea that in Nazareth we're dripping from the open mouth, and yet when Vessel seems to wake up from this moment, this ascension, this wanting to be next to God after somebody else got in your ear, that he spits blood when he wakes up from his dripping jaw, sink porcelain stains. Porcelain, a bathroom. If you haven't, again, watched my video on Nazareth already, it seems that this is the setting for Nazareth, even down to the reverb and the short slapback that we get against those tiles that it sounds like on the vocal line. We're in a bathroom. We're mirrors. We are getting mirrored music, mirrored voices in this. The idea that there is in Take Me Back to Eden mirror talk and fake love. That idea that even, and a content warning, I'm about to talk about restraint, that when the character, the character in Nazareth, who is given no name, no context, they are just a thing. The lack of identification for this person is troubling in its sense. But the idea that you make her eat tape in the bathroom mirror, that mirror talk, you are taking away a level of consent. The idea that this is a pivotal moment, because in this moment, no amount of self-sought fury will bring back the glory of innocence. The scriptures will be written in my blood. If you have, I'm going to put a trigger warning here. If anything, I'm going to talk about people hurting oneself over the next few moments. So if you'd like to skip ahead, the idea of self-sought fury. The idea that this is something that has been brought on oneself, that the only way that the person involved in doing this, realizing what terrible things they've done, the mortal sins that they've done, that they have brought fury on themselves, maybe even wrath. Wrath is a very important word. I'll get to that once we get to the video proper. But the idea that in self-hurt, the idea that in bloodletting you are somehow paying for sins that you your hands are not worthy, therefore you have to release something. And there are also nods to this in the lyrics as well. Manifest pain at the core of pleasure. I will get to intravenous needle use once we get into the video. Again, there's a lot of dark stuff in this. I'm sorry, guys. There's a lot of dark content in this song. That idea as well, that there is a sense of, I don't want to say euphoria. It's to do with endorphins rushing when one bloodlets. And so there is there's a lot of that enveloped in these lyrics as well. But why Eden? Well, take me back to Eden. Take me back to no amount of self-sought fury will bring back the glory which is always associated with God, with godliness, the glory of innocence. That maybe there is some timeline here between the events that happen in Nazareth and the culmination of the album Take Me Back to Eden after Vessel has ascended. And again, we can read numerous different things into that as well, with the serpent in the Garden of Eden saying, no, don't listen to him. If you don't listen to him and you do what you want, then you can get to godliness. But there are so many different ways, lyrically, musically, that have been developed throughout these albums. I don't know. I feel like Nazareth is a real turning point. I feel like something broke here. Maybe the bow broke for the first time. And I am, of course, only talking about this from one interpretive level. There is Jungian psychology. There's a whole load of stuff that I will dive into over the course of this video. But yes, a lot of very heavy thing. I mean, look at the state of this. There's arrows pointing to things. I'm trying to make sense of it as best I can. I hope that it's helping you. But anyway, bollocks. Let's just fucking watch it. Christ, this was meant to be a quick one.
That's what she said.
So, Sleep Token, Nazareth, but not the video from Jaws over the top of the song Nazareth. Let's go.
And I'll see you when the wrath comes, knocking on your bedroom door with money, building your kingdom, dripping from the
I've got those sheets. I've got those fucking sheets. This is so British, but they're from B&M. Just, B&M about 8 years ago. Yeah, I've got them in my cupboard.
I'll show you what you look like from the inside.
Oh.
And I'll see you when the wrath comes around.
So before we delve too deeply into the music video, of which I now know has B&M sheets, because why not? I'll see you when the wrath comes. Right, wrath. I did a little bit of a deep dive into what wrath means rather than what anger means. So we think of wrath, firstly, is one of the deadly sins. I do love some of the quotes that the Catholic Church have about wrath, because wrath seems to be directed at an innocent person. There is, of course, as we know, there is God's wrath. There is all sorts of different ways that wrath is used in religious terminology. But the idea that it can be interpreted in a very Roman Catholic Christian way, that wrath is directed at someone. It is extreme anger that is directed at a person. Indeed, when you leave a religion, there is meant to be wrath there's a huge amount of different levels of wrath, but that idea that it's directed at an innocent person. So when the wrath comes around, it's not coming around like a hurricane. It's not going to just willy-nilly, as a force of nature, destroy houses, destroy people, destroy. Wrath is coming with direction. It is coming to be directed at a people or indeed a person. So very close-up shots. Lovely lens to get that depth of field. So we've got people in their underwear.
Slow the gun. Make her read the tape in the bathroom mirror. See if she can guess what.
Oh, the mask for the first time.
Let's fuck her.
Okay, let's talk about the hollow point. I'm going to, again, content warning over the next few moments. I'm going to talk about intravenous needle use. So the manifest pain at the core of pleasure. So anybody who's ever had an injection or has ever given blood will know that certainly in the UK, in the NHS, they must do it thousands of times a day. They'll say, just before it goes in, little scratch. Just a little scratch. So you know that it's going to be like, hey. That could be interpreted as the pain at the core of pleasure if one is using a needle to inject yourself with something which is going to bring you pleasure, okay? But the true pain in long-term substance use is addiction. The pain isn't the scratch. The pain is the effects that it has on a family, a personal, financial, social, fucking health level. That's the pain that is at the core. But the idea that the hollow point, a hollow point needle, as well as a hollow point, as I mentioned in my other video, I keep going up here like there's going to be some magic link. There's not. It'll be somewhere. But the hollow point bullet causes a huge amount of destruction straight away on impact. The hollow point of a needle is a repetitive thing. It is until you break the cycle, it is a circular, cyclical event that once you've entered into addiction, you have to pull yourself out, or something, some event, someone, some help, something has to pull you out of that cycle. So a hollow point isn't necessarily just associated with, as we're going to see, a lot of shooting imagery.
Manifest pain at the core of pleasure. I'll see you when the wrath comes.
So we're still got the bug from the... Jesus Christ! I like the idea that there's fumbling happening from a cinematic point of view. The idea that it's not that if we are to believe the narrative that this is someone removing somebody else from existence, that it is not done cleverly. That there may have been coaxing into this, but the act itself hasn't been clean, for want of a better term. Oh! Hang on a second. I did a stream a couple of weeks ago. I can't remember what music. I'm sure I recognise this lady. So bloodletting has happened, or blood is present before the incident, quote unquote, has happened, but there's blood on the shooter as well. Remember, this is the music video from Jaws, and yet pretty perfectly, and I can only assume that this is correct in its time code, but that seems to be perfectly dropped. I'm here, you fool. Come here, I'll scratch it. Wow, that was a very powerful... That's a very powerful shot, isn't it? That's like something from Quentin Tarantino. You've got the coins, a little bit of powder over on the left-hand side of the screen there. The bug, cockroach, I presume, crawling. Narrative is so much more fleshed out in this music video. There's that China I'll never be able to unhear. Where are white roses mentioned in... Oh, fuck. It's Take Me Back to Eden again. White roses, black doves, godmother, rise up. I need you to see me for what I have become. What if what he's become is something that he still feels huge shame over? That in this act that we're seeing here, and why inherently this song is so important to the lore of the relationship between a vessel and Sleep, at least. Is this what he became? Susceptible, culpable, a criminal, in fact, a murderer. The glitching. Tape. That was the first time we've seen tape implied in any of this, I think. Looks like Gaffer to me. Manifestation of the mask alongside the earwig, the cockroach. Oh! In the corner of the room, the shadow in the corner of the room, the multiple voices. So at numerous points in Nazareth, again, probably better to go back to my my other video on Nazareth, where I speak in depth about the use of reverbs and the voices, so how it's constructed, and the panning, that behind you actually hear this voice telling you that they won't be missing you, and let's load the gun, this little coercive voice that just sits behind you. So I love that they've nodded to in this music video that there is something there in the shadows. There is something that hasn't necessarily although this is your choice, you have to make a choice. You have to bite the apple. Ultimately, Adam and Eve, they made a choice to commit sin, the first sin. They were the ones who introduced, if you like, certainly from a Christian theology, they were the ones who introduced sin into the world as we know it. But they were coerced. There was a serpent. There was another voice. And as serpents are so often used, I often reference Medusa, multiple voices, and that leads to one of the things I've got written down here. Where the fuck is it? Here, religious psychosis. So often when people go through religious psychosis, there are multiple voices involved, that you hear voices that on throwing yourself into worshipping a deity, or indeed removing yourself from a life of worshipping a deity, that there are levels of psychosis that can happen with that as well. There are, I believe, only 3 instances in 54 songs where Vessel curses, where he uses a swear word. We're not used to hearing that. And also, that is not a phrase that we associate with on a psychological, a musical, an emotional level, the attachment that we have to the lead singer of Sleep Token, Vessel, who is very much a hero in music at the moment. This, for us who love musical theatre, who love metal, who love theatre, who love narratives, who love fucking people using Greek mythology and incorporating it into what sometimes can just be dark pop music. We don't want to think of that man, that the iconography that we give to that representative of Sleep Token, him saying something so vulgar, something disgusting as "let's fuck her up." That's gross. We don't. So in that in itself is why so many people, and I think from having read the comments on Ko-fi, and a lot of people skip this song. They don't want to actually think of Vessel as being this, as a hero, capable of that, because that rather ruins the hero's mythos. It takes away some of their heroism. It takes away some of the part where we are emotionally connected to them as a person. People have a problem with listening to Nazareth, who really love Sleep Token, because the idea that their hero, and this is, again, we're breaking this down to theatre, to film construction, the hero's journey, the 3-act journey. So I can understand why people choose to skip this song. But I think that sometimes, and let's go back to Jungian stuff, sometimes you have to really stick your face in the abyss. And I didn't like this song the first time I listened to it. There were a few Sleep Token songs. This music video has been a little bit enlightening. It certainly does fit better than what the quote-unquote official music video does. So while it doesn't fit entirely in terms of narrative, it certainly is more linked in. It certainly has more narrative connotations to Nazareth. Again, we'll never know, nor do I want to, what happened with why this ended up being this way round. But I would like to, because my next video will be on Jericho, which is very slow and almost sickly sweet at the beginning, with reassurance from a voice to another character involved. I believe it's the voice of Sleep speaking to Vessel at the beginning, but that would make sense. That would certainly make sense with the narrative. Indeed, that Vessel has done something terrible, and I've kept a theory for a while now. So particularly in Greek mythology, gods are infinite. Gods are they cannot be destroyed. They cannot be killed in their essence. They are infinite. They are the beginning and the end, and they have a power that we, even going back to Eden, going back to Christian scripture, where God was in charge. He took dust and created Adam, and he pulled a rib out of Adam and created Eve. So gods have powers that we as humans will never be able to understand. Remember, we as humankind are referred to as the children of wrath. Ain't that a thing? So then, if gods cannot be created nor destroyed, then they have just existed over and over again. Now, there have been times where it's alluded to in the lyrics, particularly in the next two albums, that the strength of Sleep, the deity in this musical theatre production of Sleep Token, that Vessel is supporting, he is spreading the word. Vessel, if you like, is a crusader. He is coming to us and spreading the word of this god, Sleep. But if this God is infinite, and if this God has just gone through time, then surely this can't be the first vessel. Surely gods have shown us time and time again that they have messengers, that they even at times demand sacrifices. So then, is Nazareth Vessel showing his God, his deity, Sleep, by removing the previous vessel? What if this is a labyrinth theory? Not a labyrinth, but Labyrinth, the film. There is a theory about, for those of you that I think that obviously Sleep Token is rooted in shadow work. I also believe that the Henson produced film Labyrinth with David Bowie and Jennifer Connelly is rooted in this as well. There is a theory in Labyrinth that every one of the goblins in the Goblin City was a Toby that never got saved by a Sarah before. And so the cycle just continues. That in fact Jareth, the Goblin King, he really wants the cycle to end, but he needs a Sarah to fulfill that, to do it. And remember, up till this point in the Sleep Token discography, we're only in the second EP, but there's never been something so vulgar, something so aggressive as Nazareth. So is Nazareth a way of Vessel, our Vessel that we know it, the Jennifer Connelly of Sarah's that we know him as? Is he trying to prove himself above all else, that every other one of your vessels may have let you down, you may have weakened as a god, but I am the one, and I'll show you by doing this? I mean, there are multiple theories about who Vessel or who even Sleep is removing in this. Maybe this was an ex-girlfriend, quote unquote, or an ex-lover of Vessel that was named Eden. And that's why we want to come back. Take me back to Eden. Take me back to that person that I loved before I met you. But I just, no matter what artistically we are given here, and no matter how much I interpret this from when we zoom out from a larger sense, I do believe that this is all rooted in Jungian psychology. That perhaps this, in my opinion, and this is just my theory, you can take this for what it's worth, that Nazareth is such an important, seminal, atrocious moment for him personally, because that is him removing the block between him and his shadow self. It is the idea that he has to get rid of this. He has to commit to the shadow. He has to commit to taking his shadow self and bringing it up, no matter how gross it is, no matter how vulgar he makes it sound. Let's fuck her up. Do you know who says shit like that? Not people like our Vessel that we're used to. That's not the character that we have created through this discography as well. And also, I would urge you to think about this. We have created our own characters. Every single Sleep Token song, album, piece of art can be interpreted differently. That's why I fucking love it so much, because my interpretation is not yours. But is this act truly heinous, or is it just a representation of what, in order to get through to one's shadow side, in order to embrace the darkness, something has to break? And is it indeed the man breaking himself? We said in the video for When the Bow Breaks that Sleep almost compassionately says to Vessel, I'm going to have to break you. I'm going to have to do that in order for you to achieve what you want. That Vessel's own shadow self is speaking to him and is saying, let's load the gun. Let's take all of that shit that you need to get out the way in order to find yourself, in order to become your essential self, to do the Jungian shadow work, which I believe that all of this is rooted in, that maybe you have to kill off your old self in order for you to ascend, in order for you to become your essential self. I can't get away from all of the Jungian. Fuck me, we've talked about so many different things. There are so many different theories, and that's what makes this band so good. There are brilliant bands that I wish I could go back to and experience in real time, and we're experiencing it with a band like Sleep Token, because what the fuck am I doing? I love it. Love doing this. Anyway, yes, right. On the screen right now are all of my members on Ko-fi. That also means that these are all members of the private Discord as well. I can't begin to say how grateful I am to every single one of you for supporting me and be able to make videos like this. This has probably felt my most disjointed video, because I'm trying to bring in a bunch. I do believe that this song is incredibly important. And unfortunately, I don't think that enough people maybe have delved into the significance of the symbolism and the storyline context, if you like, of the first two EPs. But this, for me, feels like a huge turning point. Once we get to Jericho, the mood is going to change a little bit. Vessel is going to believe that his hands are not worthy, and indeed I believe in some of this there is a bit of coddling, but there is so much historical context to go into why Jericho was chosen as the name of this song as well. Anyway, right, guys, thank you so much for watching all of this. Again, it was just going to be a short one, but there's so much, and I do believe that Nazareth is an incredibly important song in the story of Sleep Token. I will be, of course, continuing. We will be going to the last song on EP2, then we're going to Jaws, and then we're going to get into Sundowning. Of course, you may not know, I do live streams over on Twitch where we go through Sleep Token songs. Sometimes we do viewers' choice stuff. Last week was amazing because I got to dive into Youngblood, which I never would have imagined, Bad Omens, and indeed we went through some of the Sleep Token live stuff as well. Thank you so much. I'm very grateful for your support, just for watching these videos. As you know, I make no money on YouTube. None of us do anymore, because once we use one copyrighted video, it doesn't matter how transformative we make it. That is what it is. So if you do want to support me, and again, you're a free range human, do what the fuck you want. Just do what you want. But if you want to, head over to my Ko-fi page and support me. Like, that's fucking amazing, and I appreciate it so much. Yeah, the wrong video apparently makes a lot more narrative sense. After Jericho, by the way, there's no more RE lessons. I've got to calm it down. These are getting far too long, but I will always try and offer the correct supportive works and supportive analysis to try and make sense of this wondrous experience that is Sleep Token the musical. that we are all experiencing in real time. Anyway, I shall catch you on the next one. For Jericho, have yourselves a lovely week.